What's going on, sir? I'm not. Love the right. You remember that song, the Girls. Yeah.
Well, I've tripped over it twice, so. Thanks.
It's because you tripped over the garbage can.
That's fine.
Yes, I thought so. We have to record this whole hearing. And this was, well,
Yeah.
something about.
Hi. Hi. I talked to Brian a couple days ago. Okay. He was supposed to set it up so that this was getting recorded. Okay. It has to be recorded. Okay. Getting started. At the time, what he said is he was having to have somebody set it up so it's just recorded on Zoom, even though it's not being shown live on Zoom. However it's done, we need to have this recorded so we start.
So he didn't say anything out.
There's nothing here recorded.
Guys, we're waiting to start right now. They need somebody to record the hearing. That's what we're waiting on right now. Thank you all for joining.
Yes.
How many people are supposed to be in
We need the room recorded. It can be just audio. He said we can do that via Zoom. We don't need a video recording. The only legal requirement is audio. Well, the city certainly has that.
Right.
Yes.
Hmm?
What's that? Huh? 40.
She doesn't even know. No, you don't. I got a lot going on. Touch me.
At least you knew it was good vibes. She was like, it's okay, whoever it is not a threat. I love it. I love it. This is a great place.
It's coming right over. We're getting good at that.
But it's a good, I feel like I started like a domino effect or something. Well, I told you, good girl, don't call me for anything. I'm not here.
No, you did not.
No, you know I told her.
Already about like 19 years.
What?
Got COVID, he went to accident, so I get all those to keep us safe. Exact place it's
Yeah, so.
1036th Street. It's filed under conditional reruns.
Right, so they
And
lost
it's
their
just
18 grand.
so smooth, everything's very.
But more is gone, so you're shopping around.
And they got the boarding, they got the boarding security.
They got the boarding certificate, but that's not good.
I know, I'm just saying, they boarded already.
We're gonna get there. Yes.
It's not that,
Number 53?
yeah.
So we gotta change that on that paper. But does she have the paper on it?
Are you playing any video on the TV? We don't need any visual recording, just.
I just want to make sure the audio's not gonna get messed up if you play something on the TV.
I'm not aware of anything sound flash from the TV. Okay.
Sound check, sound check, sound check.
Sound check, sound check, sound check.
Audio is being recorded.
Is it on now? Yes. Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
Well, that's good.
IT just came and set up, so we're recording now. Thank you.
All right. Where's Kristen?
I just called her. She was trying to find alternate recording.
Watching nothing happen. Okay, so we're recording. Kristen's on her way back. How do you want to handle starting this?
Since you probably want that to be on the recording.
Are you looking at me or you just looking?
No, I'm looking out the door. I probably bring everyone in.
Might have to do it one group.
Okay. Otherwise, it won't be on the recording.
Right.
We have a backup. Thank you.
So Kristen, we're recording.
Would it be easier to do just during the beginning of each hearing?
Yeah, bring one in by one.
How do you want to send everybody in?
So,
That's what we're
at least for the beginning, since in cases we have respondents, I'm gonna have to swear them in individually anyway, so why don't we do the cases where we have people present, I'll just swear them in case by
Okay.
case. Once everyone's gone, and whoever didn't get sworn in, maybe we bring them in.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll do that.
Okay,
We ready to start?
I think so. Just wanted.
Yes, yeah.
Let me just, okay, so for the record, we'll call to order the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing. Today is August 4th, 2021. My name is Keith Davis. I'm a Special Magistrate appointed by the city to preside over today's agenda. For the record, we're located in the third floor conference of the library due to meeting requirements that the city needed the commission chambers. We'll be swearing folks in case by case initially. That's all I need to say at this point since nobody else is in the room. So let's go ahead and get the first case in.
Okay. Agenda item number 70, case number CE 2105-0348-350. Timothy Small, present?
Yes.
Okay. Go to the board.
So this, okay. We're right here.
Okay, so let's see, I have Ms. Lester and I have Mr. Small. I'm going to go ahead and place you both under oath. Each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I did. Very much. Go ahead and have a seat. Mr. Small, I will hear from Ms. Lester first. After she's concluded her presentation, I'll come over to you and you'll be able to tell me everything about the case that you want to. If you have questions, you can ask them. If you have additional documents, you can produce them again.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Lester, go ahead.
All right. Officer Lester West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. This particular case was cited for artificial turf in the front setback of the property. And certified mail went out and received on property, but it wasn't received. COVID-19 stamp went on it because of COVID. They actually don't deliver certified mail. The property was posted on 7/14/2021. I'm asking for 30 days or $50 per day after.
Okay, so this is the first in one of a few of these artificial turf cases. In this case, where is the artificial turf?
Artificial turf is in the driveway strips and in the walkway strip. All the rest of the grass is natural.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, that's really real looking artificial turf, but, so we're talking about the little strips.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the record, Mr. Small is also present. The city has proper notice. So I continued all of these artificial turf cases that I had on my last agenda because the city commission was having a workshop earlier, and they had that earlier in the week. Do we know the results of that workshop, if there was any result, or?
The result is that they did not change anything. So at this time, our ordinances stand as they are properly, have been properly passed previously. That, again, nothing in front setback or the swale parkway.
Right.
That's how that stands. There has been nothing that I know of that they're not calling themselves back into a work session. Nothing else of that.
So there was no discussion about changing the code or loosening the restrictions on artificial turf based on that meeting?
My understanding, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did get sworn in, I didn't know I was gonna be testifying here.
So our from our fellows, perjury testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Postman.
Mr. Postman, Code Enforcement, actually I was representing Code at the hearing itself. It was a lengthy discussion, but the end result is there's no change planned at this time. They may look at some small changes, but they may not look at some small changes. Mr. Small is actually present as well, we spoke then.
Okay.
But there's not a change in the works right now.
Thank you very much for that. Anything else from the city before I hear from Mr. Small?
Nothing.
Go ahead, sir.
Do you mind if I stand up?
By all means.
Thank you, thank you. So, this is my home. There is some, what that is, first of all, is it's not the artificial turf that they're talking about that looks like grass. Officer Lester, did you take any close-ups of that, of the turf, or do you just have these broad pictures?
I have overall pictures.
So you can kind of see where it's matting down right there where your cursor is in the middle. That it's not the artificial turf that is used on the athletic fields and the playgrounds and the other places. I bought the home with the artificial turf in place. So it's been there for a number of years. And what it really is it's that old school grass carpet that people used to put on their porch that is adhered directly to the concrete underneath it. For the sake of argument, I've always called it artificial turf, but it isn't what the city is calling artificial turf in the meetings. I stayed kind of active throughout this, and I want to say I'm not angry with anyone. I appreciate Officer Lester's work, but the problem that I have personally in my heart of hearts is the inequity. I've been to 3 county commission meetings, city commission meetings, excuse me, and the special workshop the other day. And there's a lot of passion on the subject. There are arguments that aren't really relevant to my case here today, but things like how much water is saved, or how bad are the chemicals that are used. None of that really applies to me because I have decorative strips of outdoor carpet basically in my driveway. But according to the city, this bag of butterscotch is deadly. It's made, the wrappers are polypropylene. But the city allows it in athletic fields, playgrounds. I just learned after the meeting from the sustainability officer that I spoke with that businesses can have it so long as they get a permit. Residents can have it in the rear and side setbacks of the yard so long as it is not visible. So just as a citizen, and I know, I'm sorry, I know you guys, a lot of people I'm not a lawyer, I'm not trying to be a lawyer, I'm just trying to be reasonable. But I have a little bit of experience with code enforcement, and I read over the statute that gives the authority, 162.02, and in short, a summation is health, safety, and welfare. So if the city says that me having those strips in my yard has an adverse effect on the health, the safety, or the welfare of the community, then certainly in a multiple acre athletic field where there's hundreds and hundreds of square yards of that artificial turf, that's got to be equally bad, but they allow it. It's got to be equally bad. My backyard is 3 times the size of my front yard. So if I chose to, I don't, I have natural grass, I like grass. But if I chose to, I could put it back there. 3 times the amount of those few fair square feet of strips. So it's an inequity to say that a business owner, and I'll give you an example, the Jaguar dealer on the corner of Dixie and Okeechobee has artificial turf around the perimeter of their building. And I know why they do that. That's for environmental reasons, to wash down. I mean, they could do rocks if they chose, but they have artificial turf there. So that's okay, that doesn't hurt anybody. It's harmless, right? But those strips in my sidewalk are harmful. I find that to be a big stretch. I found it to be an inequity. It's an infringement on my rights as a homeowner, and it's an infringement on my liberties. I mean, where did we lose the American dream? Would you agree that I don't have a beautiful home? I mean, it's modest, but it's well kept and beautiful. So now I have to pull the stripes out. I have to now put some kind of patchwork concrete in the middle of that, or leave a trip hazard, which is detrimental. I mean, the mailman trips and falls in my crack, now I'm getting sued. So my problem is the inequity that it doesn't go there. And the city made the argument, there was some applause because, and Mitch is here, if I may call you Mitch. Mitch is here, and he said that in some cases, they actually had to go bend down and they had to touch or pull a piece out to even know that it's artificial. Now mine is very clearly artificial. It's not made to mimic turf. It's not the exact same thing. And then we talked about the ordinance that was the last one that was passed. And they said, well, you homeowner can have it in the backyard, but it can't be seen from a thoroughfare. In fact, the mayor went on to say in the commission hearing that they defined a thoroughfare to make sure that everybody knows. He does not want that seen by the public in a sidewalk or a road. Now those are his words in the recorded workshop the other day, not mine. So now we're talking about something different. Now we're not talking about health, safety, or welfare. We're talking about aesthetics. Someone doesn't like the aesthetics of artificial turf grass in the front of the house where it can be seen, and those were the words, by others. Now, we don't really regulate, and this is a question if somebody wants to answer me, and if it is, I hope you answer the right way, because I got some neighbors I want to talk to you about. I can paint my house any color I want, right? If I want to have a blue house, paint my house blue. Miss Lester's shaking her head yes. So this is aesthetics. Why am I not entitled to have what I consider to be a beautiful lawn that's doing far less by any logical measurement of reason? There has to be a litmus test for what is health, safety, and welfare. It can't just be that one overzealous worker is adamantly against artificial turf because it has polypropylene in it. Because I sat through the meeting before, and the city during that water crisis, you guys gave out case after I went, and you gave me 2 cases of water bottles full of polypropylene. So you can't smoke in one hand and then the other hand say smoking is bad for you. You can't do it. It's not fair, and that's my point. It's not that anybody here has done me wrong. I know how this happened. There were 2 guys. They got cited because they did an extreme makeover on their yard. I'm well aware of that. In fact, one of them is a very good friend of mine, and he turned me in. I don't believe anybody ever would have bothered with me had somebody not put me on a list. And then that person turned around and tried to recruit the help of everybody that they turned in to fight the city for their grass. So for some people, it was a great deal of money. I don't want to tear my grass out. I think it looks nice. I'll tell you, it's wearing, and in a couple of years, I'm probably going to change it anyway without that, just because it's just getting tracked. But the point is, it's a terrible inequity, and I believe that's really all I have. I mean, and I don't believe that you can say that aesthetics qualifies for health, safety, and welfare of the community. And I would argue with anybody sitting in the room, it's not much, but it's mine. I think it looks nice. So who gets to be the judge of what looks nice and what doesn't look nice? My neighbor's home next door looks terrible. His yard is burnt to a crisp when it doesn't rain, and when it does rain, I mowed it. The picture when you came back, I just mowed it. I couldn't take it any longer. The weeds were up to here. And for a lot of people that have this artificial turf, those environmental issues are the things that they have to battle. I just sprayed on the right side of my driveway 2 treatments of pesticide for chinch bugs that came from my neighbor's lawn. It's a terrible inequity that he can have a lawn that looks the way it does, and now it's rained, so it looks green in the picture, but normally it's just all dead and brown, and you've been there and looked at it when it was. And so how do I end up getting penalized like this? So what I'll have to do is pay a guy to come tear that off, scrape it clean, put in patching compound so that it's level, and then I'm gonna have to go over it with something like pavers or some kind of epoxy paint that's only gonna chip off, cool deck, whatever. And it's an injustice, and that's my argument. I'd be honest with you, I agree wholeheartedly with Ms. Penny, the sustainability officer, in her plea. So I say, yeah, sure, if you're gonna make me pull that up and go through that expense, in particular, after we're started to recover from COVID and now we're going back into another phase. My business is rental cars and I'm been in quite a bit of distress. So I don't have an extra $9 grand laying around to do this job and make my home look nice. But it's just simply unfair and unreasonable. And that's my argument. I want to come and say that if I'm so ordered, I will remove it. I would like some time to remove it due to the financial situation that I'm in, if I have to. But I'm also not ruling out the idea of going, at least having an appellate hearing, because I believe that this is unjust. It's not fair. It's not fair that the owner of Lindbergh's, who operates a business in a city, can have artificial turf outside of his business, and he's making money off of the citizens of this city, and then me, who lives in my home, pays my taxes, served in the military, I'm an upstanding citizen, and I have to get penalized. That's an inequity. And I'm asking that you dismiss the case.
All right, thank you, Mr. Small. City would like to
Mr. Small's passion notwithstanding, it's not a matter of whether the city understands his passion or his point. There's no question of equity, fairness, or anything along those lines. In code enforcement, we don't make the code. We don't decide what's fair. We don't decide what's aesthetically pleasing. We simply enforce the codes that do exist. We were not a part of the code change that allowed some of the property to have artificial turf, but not all, nor were we given choice as to whether or not the commissioners were going to change it at this time. They made their own decisions based on information provided, but bottom line is it is a code violation. As with any other case, we're certainly willing to work with Mr. Small time-wise, and his willingness to appeal notwithstanding. There's nothing about this case that authorizes the magistrate to do this based on constitutionality or fairness. This is a violation of city code. There's no doubting that, whether my opinion is it's good or not.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I respond to that?
Final comment briefly.
Okay. Just because a group of elected officials sit down and decide they want to do something does not make it constitutional by matter of fact. If it hasn't been tested, then we really don't have verification that it is fair and constitutional.
Magistrate, there's no disputing that, but this isn't the forum for that.
Okay. I've already filed proper notice in this case. Let me say a couple things. Let me ask a quick question. Was this one of the cases that was on my last agenda that I can't?
No, this doesn't continue. This is the
This is first time for this case? Okay. So the city's definition of artificial turf to address whether this is or isn't artificial turf. Artificial turf means an artificial product manufactured from synthetic materials that effectively simulate the appearance of live/natural turf, grass, sod, or lawn. Based on the definition and the photographs and the testimony, it is my finding that this is artificial turf under the city's code. City Code Section 94-451A4 allows artificial turf on residential lots in the rear setback and side setback only. This is clearly in the front, and therefore it is in violation of this code. I want to address a couple of things that Mr. Small indicated, or that Mr. Small argued. Code enforcement certainly has to do with codes that impact the public health, safety, and welfare. And the law actually allows the city more opportunity to cure those violations without waiting for the property owner to do it themselves, because they impact the public health, safety, and welfare. However, code enforcement also can address aesthetic things that do not technically impact public health, safety, and welfare. For example, if somebody has a dirty roof, it's difficult to argue that that's a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare. However, the city's entitled to enforce a code that requires a roof be kept clean. You can have an unregistered vehicle in your driveway. That's a code violation. Again, difficult to argue that the fact that the registration is not current is a health, safety, and welfare violation, but it is a violation of the city code, and the city is entitled to enforce that. Similarly with this artificial turf code, the code does not allow what you have, Mr. Small. Whether that's fair or right or good, that is above the pay grade of everyone in this room. That is the decisions that are made by the elected officials, as you've all recognized. There were a number of these cases on my July agenda, or June agenda, whichever one it was. And I continued all of them because this workshop was scheduled, and I wanted to give everyone the benefit of that workshop. That workshop, the City Commission, from what's been presented at this hearing this morning, decided that there's going to be no change at this time to this code. So even your case was not one of the ones I continued. However, based on everything I've heard, you are in violation of city code, whether you think that code is right or fair or not. Again, those are arguments for the city commissioners. So I do find that the property is in violation as cited. Ms. Lester has recommended 30 days to comply. I'm willing to give you more time than that. How much time do you think you reasonably need to take care of this?
90 days?
I'm happy to give you 90 days. I will give 90 days to comply. After that, I will accept the city's recommendation and impose daily fines of $50 per day after the 90 days has expired until compliance is achieved.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. And I appreciate you coming, Mr. Small. I appreciate everything you said.
Here's a copy from today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I call for you next. Agenda item number 27, case number CE21060488, case address 703 14th Street.
Okay, I have Ms. St. Hilaire in the room. Do we have the representative of Wells Fargo in the room?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, let me go ahead and place you both under oath. Each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So you kind of heard how the last one went, so we'll do the same thing. I'll hear from the city first, and then I'll come back to you. Whenever you're ready, Ms. St. Hilaire, go ahead.
Same thing, code enforcement with the city of West Palm Beach. This property was signed June 29th, certified mail was signed for July 20th. Property was posted July 15th. I've had contact with a representative for Wells Fargo. Property was signed for 1816A, 1816B, 18214A, 18214B, 18215B, 18265, 74-483, 74-4C4, 74-4C5. Magistrate, this complaint came to us from the neighborhood and the residents. This property is badly overgrown. It needs to be boarded. It is actually inhabited by vagrants as we speak. So the city is requesting an additional 5 days or in order to abate.
You have overgrown vegetation and you have vagrancy. All right, thank you. Let me go ahead and go to the responding. So if you could tell me your name and how you're associated with the property, and then you can tell me about it.
Sure. My name is Russell Hall. I'm a representative of Wells Fargo. So we're associated with foreclosure action on this property. I do agree with the assessment that Madam Court officer did just state, and we're in compliance and agreement with the fact that there are squatters on the property. Wells Fargo did an inspection on this property July 25th, and the property is obviously occupied by squatters. The locks that we previously placed on the property have since been removed. The windows were open. There's numerous squatters that they found. The inspection agent from Wells actually didn't even go inside because of the hazardous condition. Due to the occupancy, we're unable to secure and maintain the property at this point, but we are seeking additional time at this point to complete the eviction action to remove the squatters and obtain possession of the property. Obviously, due to the COVID eviction holds, they've been unable to proceed at this point, but that is their intent. It looks like Wells secured the property back in 2019, so I'm not sure if the county does have any type of remedies or any type of recourse to have them physically removed without the eviction process being completed, but just in terms of the intent of the bank, they are looking to complete the eviction action and remove the squatters from there.
All right, the bank owns this now, this is not in foreclosure.
Right, exactly, they're the current owner.
All right.
I do want to mention one thing real quick. Even if we're talking about the vagrants inside the property, the rear and front of the property is still badly overgrown. And that does need to be taken care of to the point where residents are letting us know that the squatters, they're actually even defecating in the rear of the property. And these are, this is a residential neighborhood, with kids and everything passing by. So these, if we can get it cut and trimmed, and that would at least minimize some of the issues, even if you're not able to avoid it right away. And you gotta work with at least the little parts that we can work with.
Anything else, sir?
No, I'll defer to you all, if we can parse those two issues, maybe we can do the overgrown grass and the outside, property areas that need to be remedied now, and then wait till the eviction is able to be completed.
All right, then in this case, I do find proper notice from respondent is present in the city, has proper documentation in its file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I do find the property remains in violation as cited. I find that these violations all constitute a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare based on the photographs as well as the testimony that I've heard. You have exceptionally overgrown vegetation, you have vagrancy, property vacantly supposed to be unoccupied. The windows are open, there's access, there's trash and debris. I can't wait, I can't make the city wait on some future eviction moratorium that gets lifted to prevent things from going, keeps getting extended. So, in this case, I am going to accept the city's recommendation. If I didn't say that I find the property remains in violation as cited, I do make that finding, and I find that those violations are a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare. I will allow 5 days for the respondent to comply. After that, the city is authorized to enter the property, abate not only the excessive growth, but the exposed windows, take care of the vagrancy, the trash and debris, pretty much everything. This needs to be abated and then assess the cost of that abatement against the property.
Sorry, police were just letting us know. It's another avenue, trying to get the.
Well, you guys can
Yeah.
have those discussions offline, but I am authorizing the city to take whatever steps it needs to abate these violations.
Thank you very much. And to be clear, what was the fine after the 5 day?
Beg your pardon?
Was there a fine after the 5 day, X amount of
Those
dollars?
5 days, the city's can abate.
Oh, it's their cost,
And
okay.
they can assess those
Well,
costs.
Got it. Very good. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Agenda item number 46, case number CE 21060411. Please address 844 30th.
Kristen, can we skip that, go to the next one,
Okay.
and then we'll do 44, or 34 next,
Okay, so next would be number 2.
and we'll drive.
Done. Agenda item number 2, case number CE 21070103, case address 828 Flamingo Drive. And we have Alexandria Williams.
Right behind that table, thank you.
Are you Ms. Williams?
Hello. Yes.
Okay, and then I have Mr. Mr. Williams. I need to place you
No
both.
relation.
I need to go ahead and swear you both in for this case. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Ms. Williams, I'm going to hear from the city first. After they've concluded their presentation, I'll come back to you. You can tell me whatever you have to tell me about the case. If you have additional documents to produce, you can produce them at that time.
Yeah.
Okay? Mr. Williams, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, Don Williams, code enforcement, City of West Palm Beach, 828 Flamingo Drive, was cited for 18-106-10. Pool need cleaning at that point, and 94304E-2-1-C, which need a self-locking gate to secure the pool. I cited this property July 13th of 21, posted the property July 13th of 21, and certified mail, no doubt, July 16th of 21. Contact has been made with the owner, she is present today. And my recommendation for this case would be 60 days to comply or a fine of $100 per day.
Fine of 150?
60, 100.
100. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Williams, you're up. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have, hired a company to build a pool,
Yes.
and that was back in September of 2020. It has been nothing but a nightmare for me. A living nightmare. It has literally driven me to seek mental health because of the experience that I've had with this company. I actually had reached out to Mr. Williams regarding my neighbor's fence, because she has a pool. As you can see, that fence on the east side of my home
Right
is
there.
broken. That's the neighbor's fence.
That's the neighbor's fence?
She has just purchased the home, and that's a whole nother story. Anyhow, when Mr. Williams came out to look at the fence, he saw what was going on in my yard. This pool company, I will not see them for literally months on end to come out to my home. So the day that Mr. Williams came out, there was no fence up because the ground was not being graded correctly in order for me to even reinstall my gate. And the pool it's disgusting. It's filled with garbage, and I have photos and water and mosquitoes, and the day that I came home from work, I saw the citation on my door. I immediately called Paradise, spoke with them. They asked me to send them photos and a copy of the infraction, which I did. On the 15th, which was 2 days later, they said that they came and graded the yard, but it was not enough for my fence company to reinstall my gate. The pool was left dirty with food wrappers and water bottles and dirty water. On the 16th, I reached back out to them via email, asking if someone would be coming to grade and clean. They responded, I have everything for you. On the 20th, nobody came again. The 20th, I reached back out to Paradise via email. I asked to speak with the owner. I was told he was in a meeting. On the 22nd of July, I had my attorney write a letter to Paradise for them to finish the construction of this pool in 21 days. And by July 28th, nobody has come to take care of these problems. So I actually, on the 29th, I did call them back. The gal at Paradise said that she was sick for 2 days. I said, tomorrow's the day, this has to be completed. And as far as the code infraction, and she told me she would get back to me. And well, I'm sure you know how that went.
So the pool is still under construction. It looks like
But
it
the
has
pool has been under
almost for a year.
I'm beside myself.
Yeah, that's a long.
I was told it would.
And there's not, I mean, there's a little bit of water in the bottom from rain and stuff, but it's not filled.
Correct. But the water that's in there is disgusting.
No, yeah,
I printed out the emails just so you can see I'm trying to be diligent, because I'm hoping that the city can back me with this company saying, hey, you need to take care of this stuff.
So is your permit to construct the pool still active?
It is.
Or has
I
it
checked.
expired?
Yes, no, it's still active, and I actually asked yesterday when it would expire. And correct me if I'm wrong, as long as they're getting an inspection on perhaps like the plumbing, now that starts a new date, is that correct?
Well, I'm not an expert, but my understanding of the building code is that as long as there's activity under the permit, once every 6 months, the permit will stay active, so. But this has been more than 6 months based on your testimony, so that's why I asked. Let me, I'll come back to you, ma'am, if you have anything else. Let me go to the, I don't know if it's the city attorney or Mr. Williams. I guess 2 questions. If this is a open building permit situation, I guess, what are you looking for in terms of pool needs cleaning? And then the second question is, for the requirement of the self-latching gate, is that legally required before the pool is finished? Is that legally required during a construction project? You would have to have that gate up on day 1 of the construction, or is there some other day during the construction process that gate has to be installed, or is it when the pool is complete that the gate has to be installed?
That second question is a first impression question for me, and I do not know, and I would have to research that. One of the questions that I have is, Ms. Williams, what is the level of the water today as we speak?
Well, after yesterday's rain, I have pictures on my phone, I can show you, it's much higher than, this was 3 weeks ago.
I guess,
I don't know if there's.
so I have a follow-up question, and this may be to Ms. Williams. Is there I see an orange construction barrier, is that?
I have put that up.
But is that all the way around the
No, sir,
construction
it's just
site?
on the other side of my home, the west side has my gate is intact. This was necessary to remove the gate on my east side so they could gain access for the excavator and backhoe.
And one of the other things I was thinking, and I'm just brainstorming here, is there an option, I know this was mentioned in a totally different code enforcement hearing a long time ago, using a pump to continually pump the water out. It's not convenient, but I don't know if that will, fix any of these ordinances that are out of compliance on this property, as opposed to, could also cover the pool.
I mean, my concern is finding that either of these are in violation while there's an open building permit. I understand this is taking an exceptionally long time through, more than anything I've heard, no fault of the respondent, but if there's an open building permit, this is a construction site, I'm not sure what they would do to clean the pool, and I'm not, I don't know the answer to whether the self-latching gate is required prior to the certificate of completion.
In terms of safety to the community and kids in the area, you gotta have a barrier to, people come out and fall into that pool. So that is the basis of the ordinance, to keep safety, keep the kids away from the pool.
I understand that, but again, my question is, does that, you haven't cited them for not having a construction fence, you've cited them for having a self-latching gate. And my question is that self-latching gate legally required while the pool is under construction, and this is an active construction site?
I'm trying to look up an answer on that now, sir.
Well, this said before, you say 6 months, I don't know if it's active just because they have a permit open, but it's not doing any work.
Well, the testimony was that there's an open building permit that has not expired.
Special magistrate, I am looking, but I think it's gonna take a little longer than us sitting here for the next 5 minutes.
Well, and I don't wanna, Ms. Williams came to today's hearing, I'm not inclined to continue this and make her come back, but
Mr. Williams confer with somebody in perhaps, building?
I'll give you a few minutes, but you know, I don't wanna make Ms. Williams sit here all day either.
Magistrate?
Yeah.
There's no exception in the code for during the construction process. In the past, while the pool itself is being installed, of course, we haven't required a fence because they have to get there to do it. For actual construction site, there's nothing saying that allows them to not fence it off. Simply says the swimming pool has to have, how is it worded?
So under that argument, on day one, the day they bring the backhoe to dig the first hole, you have to have a self-latching gate required at the pool area under that argument. And I'm not sure that that's right.
I think it's once the pool itself is installed. There's still other construction going on, but the pool is there. I mean, there's no,
The pool's partially there, it's not complete.
it's not full.
If I may, all they need to do now is gem coat, and I need to lay my new sod. So I would say it's substantially complete. I have paid them 95% of almost $50,000 for this pool.
Let me ask this
So-
question, Ms. Williams, is the pool contractor the same entity that's putting in whatever the pool barrier is going to be, or do you have a separate contractor that's gonna put up your fence and your pool?
No, no, it is not. As a matter of fact, I've spoken with the new owner on the east side regarding this fence. That's a whole nother issue with Mr. Williams and this new owner. But no, I have, using, Chris at Budget Fence will be reinstalling my gate. But the problem is Chris can't reinstall it because they haven't actively removed enough dirt.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the legal conclusion that what I'm about to say, but I know when I had my swimming pool built, the last thing that went in was the fence and the self-latching gate. That was
In the
at
past, we
end of
certainly
the
wanted
project,
the orange construction fence, but in this case, it's all up and sitting on the ground. Which is the usual solution, of course.
I agree, but again, the code that was cited was the self-latching gate required, not the building, not the lack of a construction fence.
Would substantial completion refer to it as a pool? I mean.
Well, so here's my issue. The city has cited you for violating the law that requires a swimming pool to have a self-latching gate. What I'm asking is, since the swimming pool is not finished, are you required to have that gate yet? I think that the site should be, needs to be surrounded by a construction barrier during construction. And I see that there's at least one area that it's not, but that's not what you were cited with violating. So I'm just concerned about finding you in violation the way that the violation was cited. And also, a pool needs cleaning. Again, I'm looking for some clarity on what the city wants to be cleaned while this is still under construction. I'm not clear on that.
You got trash and debris in the pool, it's green, so that's where you got mosquitoes, some lava.
It's
So,
brown.
let me ask the city, is this what you require when everyone builds a swimming pool, that
Well, if we see it, when the complaint comes in, sure, we would cite the same thing, it has to be maintained.
I'm gonna recess this for like 15 minutes. I want you to find someone from the building department, because I'm not comfortable finding this responding in violation of the current circumstances. I understand that there's construction debris in the pool and it's dirty, but it's not a finished pool. It's still a construction site. And I don't think it's reasonable to require that to be cleaned out in the middle of construction. Again, I understand that this has been a pool contractor that has not lived up to their expectations, and this is taking, from Ms. Williams' standpoint, way longer than it should. Nevertheless, there's an open building permit, the pool is still under construction. And I have not heard sufficient legal argument or evidence that makes me find, that will allow me to find her in violation of either of the code sections that are cited under the circumstances. So I'm gonna give the city about 10 or 15 minutes to find someone from the building department to answer my questions, and then if you don't mind waiting few minutes and then we will see where we are. Okay? Let's go ahead and call the next case while we're waiting.
Okay, we're gonna be number 46. Case number CE 21060411, case address 80438 Court.
Hard to answer.
How do you get out of here? Trying to find how to get out of here. Alarm will sound. Look, I'm trying to get out of here so I could talk to you for a second. I don't know how to get out of here. How do you get it? No, how do you get out of here?
There's, yeah, to go through here.
No, I'm not from the pool company. If you want to talk for a second, yeah, come on. I just want to let you know I'm live on YouTube. So I'm with the media. My name is Amanda. I work for the Activism News Network, and I'm just sitting in and gathering information for a story.
Okay.
I heard about, what's going on, and I'm very sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Do you want to go on camera and explain what this pool company has done to you? I mean, it's totally up to you. I have a large following.
What's your name on YouTube? I'm just curious.
Acura, like the car, Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, nothing I'm saying is slander. They're facts. And
Do you want to go on camera?
sure.
Okay. Guys, we were just in the special magistrate hearing. What's your name?
Andy Williams.
Miss Andy, she's going through a very hard time with this pool company that she hired. She's even been fined by code enforcement. Do you want to talk about the company?
I was just told by this Paradise Swimming Pools out of Palm Beach Gardens that it would be a 14 to 16 week process till I was swimming. It has now been almost 47 weeks. And they just haven't lived up to their end of the bargain of a very, very expensive construction of a pool. Can't get the owner on the phone to talk with me, and I've asked several times to speak with them. And there have been periods of a month at a time or longer that they just haven't even showed up on site.
And I believe it was News Channel 5, they did a story about a pool company. Is that the one that you're...
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Like to see it.
I think I've heard of other complaints from Paradise. So, I mean, if you'd like, I can, try to reach out to them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think the magistrate is very fair. But, I mean, at this point, in my opinion, I think he should just, dump it. I don't, that's just my opinion, but I respect, the process, but I think they're going to work with you. I mean, this is really not your fault, so.
Not considering how many times I reached out and asked them about just about this, just about the gate, and I feel like I am in this spiral of.
Hold on. Somebody's saying that Paradise has been in the spotlight a few times. So yeah, that was my suspicion. I've heard about this company. So you're not the only victim.
Oh no, I actually looked up on public records the people that have contacted through them and spoken with those parties, and they are not happy. People are not happy.
It sounds like, hold on a second, it's like they're collecting all this money and they're just not executing the job.
Well,
So
I will say in the case of my case.
They do have someone coming, so this one's done with it.
Sure, thank you.
Um,
In my case, we have completed a good portion of it.
okay.
But it's just that end, that end bit that they have to do, which was the gel coat or the gem coat.
Well, look for me on YouTube, and if you'd like, I mean, I'll do this with your permission. I'll try to contact them or even go there in person.
Yeah, I'd love to talk
Okay.
to you after work, because I'm like here and I'm
Okay.
at work, but I think that would be fantastic.
Do you have a pen or
Absolutely.
something? Take down my email address.
I should also mention that there are a lot of damage that has been done to my property.
I seen those pictures. I mean, you have a beautiful home and
I do, and I've
little
given
children's
them
seats.
color photos and estimates that I've had to wait at home for people to come out and give me estimates on the damages, and they just don't respond to it.
Yeah, there's so many scams going on in South Florida. Let me give you my email.
I'm an old school, so I'm not really familiar with the YouTube, but I have a 13-year-old, and I'm sure that he very much is. So when I was surprised when you said I'm a YouTuber.
I also work for the Activism News Network. Check us out. We're on Roku, Apple TV.
Okay.
Hold on, guys. I'm still live right now.
And I'll give you my information.
Okay. There you go.
What's your first name?
Amanda.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I mean, if there's anything I can do to try to speed this process along for you, I'll do what I can.
To the pool party.
I don't know how to swim though. You might have to save me.
Well, I thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Amanda, and I'm out of work after 5.
Okay.
Anytime after then, I would love to speak to you.
And good luck. I know it's
Thank
going.
you.
I think you have a pretty fair. Yeah. Take care, dear. Nice meeting you. Hold on, guys. We're gonna go in the elevator for a little bit. We may buffer, but I'm going to go outside. Palm Beach County, they reinstated their mask mandate, so in order to get in here, this is what I had to do. But I have business to conduct, so I'll explain that to you in a little bit. All right, if we buffer, just bear with me. I don't know where we're going. You guys want my shirt? All right, which one's gonna open, guys? I say this one. Let's see if I'm right. If I'm right, I get a cookie. Oh, shoot, I lost. Hello. How do you get out of here? Okay. Okay. Let's go over here and I'll talk to you guys for a little bit. I thought this was a Christmas tree. Look at this, it's some kind of tarp that they made. I don't like that, guys. Who does that look like to you? Hello. All right, guys, let's chat for a little bit. What's going on, everyone? They got a little story time over here. What's up, guys? All right, so that meeting started a little bit later than we all anticipated, and the whole reason behind it was there was nobody there to record it, but I was recording the whole time. The irony, right, guys? It's just pretty hilarious. Hey, let me get my shades on. Hey, so I'm gonna end this live stream pretty soon, guys. The reason behind it, I gotta switch to my other iPhone. This one is about to die. So I'm going to go back into City Hall. I have a couple of questions for the records clerk. Why I'm not getting the actual cost of duplication for my 2 public records requests, and also why are the charges so high? Why are they so unreasonable? And it's under 119.07 4D and the Florida state statute. The rates must be reasonable. So that's what I'm going to go figure out right now. I did see a lot of people in there, like that Posner guy. He was wearing a purple shirt, so it was pretty funny. He was in there. But I did see Mark Joyce too. When he seen me, he didn't look too happy. All right, guys, so I'm gonna end this. Thank you all for joining me. If you haven't already, go subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell for the notifications for when I go live. So I'm going to get with that woman. I believe she said her name was Andy, right? That's some real fuckery what she's going through with her pool company. Paradise Pools, we may have to have a discussion with them. I know that they're a private sector entity, but they're still doing the public wrong. So till next time, everyone. Acura Amanda signing out. Take care.